The body knows, and the subconscious, the brain, the nervous system is hardwired to all and the subconscious nervous system. The brain is you out there in the universe, in the multiverse, in the planes of existence that are benevolent beings, whoever you are, wherever you are, near or far, no matter how similar or different than me you are. If you are a benevolent being, it means you govern yourself accordingly to all walks of life, including yourself. At least you try to. Even in your imperfection, you try to give what you actually live by some old adage, some proverbs and old principles of treat folks as you would have treat yourself, which treat people the way you want to be treated. You don't just quote it and say it and type it and post it. You live it, and you don't just live it for, the chosen few or those of you, those you do, you try. At least you try, and that's the beautiful part, because I'm not implying that you're perfect and that you have even perfectly done this, okay? But resonance and intention and motivation is everything, because we're flawed. So that plays a role. Anywho, consider the animal kingdom. The body knows. The body knows. The brain, the subconscious, the nervous system is wired to that and responds accordingly. Now I'm going to give an illustration to make a picture. Because as in this plane of existence, as humans, we are often told we got to work so hard to clear out negative energy. This video is inspired by a video that I saw on my TikTok platform. And the person wasn't talking about this. They were playing like a sound frequency to help your body. So they were not going here. But on their post, they said that sometimes it's about the body feeling safe enough to let it all go, to dissipate some of the stored stuff. Now, we're not talking about, when people are, assaulting you or doing certain things in that instance, but sometimes it's the stored stuff as it pertains to the animal kingdom, and even the things that people may be in the moment doing, or even in the animal kingdom. In the animal kingdom, there wouldn't be communication to tell the wounded animal, okay? Let's say the wounded animal was in triage and they were in their trauma response because they had been wounded. And let's say, this is still out in the wild. And let's say that the one responsible, let's say that they're in the room as they're trying to get triaged. And there wouldn't be communication to that animal. Just let it go. It's okay. Just let it go. It's okay. You're in a safe place. His body, that animal's body, would know damn well that they're not in a safe place, because the one that's responsible for hurting him is standing in that room smiling with the same uniform as those that are triaging him. They would know. The body and the subconscious and the nervous system is hardwired. They would know, no, I am not in a safe space. I can't just let it go. You're asking me to breathe and just let it go. My killer is right here in front of me. I actually have on the same uniform as you. So the animal, that wounded animal in this illustration, their nervous system is not something you get to really choose. The nervous system is responsible. The nervous system, the body and the brain knows full well. So they're in triage due to a wound that an animal in that same room created. They have not been able to, because animals innately know how to dissipate certain things. Certain things they know how to, go through the whole cycle of clearing out, okay, their body. So they haven't even been able to do that, on top of the fact that the threat is still in their presence. So the threat still being in their presence is not conducive for the healing process. They are in triage with the killer. And then the people that are ignorant to the fact that the killer is there are circling them, telling them it's okay. You're in a safe space. The animal's laying there like, nigga, you stupid. I know the fuck I ain't. Your dumb ass can't even see the blood all over his, his lab coat, dummy. No, the hell is, even if, listen to me, even if the animal, let's play with this. Let's say the animal, let's say the killer had a disguise on so that the animal could not visually recognize him as the killer. But listen, the body, the subconscious, and the nervous system knows from a frequency vibrational stance. And even if that animal could not make sense of it in the moment, their body would be responding accordingly, because it's a nervous system thing. It's not a matter of them just letting something go. It's the body needs to feel safe enough to do it, which is why the ones that are into the toxicity is why they're always trying to target your dwelling, or trying to make sure that you're uncomfortable, you or your children, that you don't, because they know that full well. And this is why they hire people to do that, even if the people they hire is ignorant to it. This is why they're always asking for something to do with the dwellings of the target. This is why the weird things that they seem to ask for or require or want to know. Here's why. They want some of that person's bio and DNA that's natural to be consumed through things like blankets, clothing, certain items. This is why they be weird and asking for things that anything integral wouldn't be asking for any of that. And they wouldn't be trying to get in that person's dwelling spaces without warrants. and the warrants would have to be something that's truly legally warranted and legit. But they would not be doing that under normal conditions. And the conditions that they're trying to create is they want the bio of the target to do the things that they know to do, just like they know that most of the population is not aware of the things that I'm talking about right now. The nervous system, the brain, and the body knows. It takes people into cognitive dissonance when you're circling them, telling them, trying to convince others, we love you, we love you, we love you. Killer's sitting there with blood, you see. We love you. You are loved. You want a button? You are loved. While we sit here hurting you, some of these people's cases, our ignorance is hurting you, because we think we know, and our dumb asses hurting you and hurting your children. as we circle you and the killer, your body, your nervous system is trying to inform our ignorant asses. I am not safe. This is not safe. I am being harmed. They are plotting to harm me. I am being harmed in your face, you dumb bitch. You dumb dude. I use the animal kingdom because, again, when we see these pictures, it's like, yeah, it would make sense because they know, they can sense that the predator is still afoot. They can't go through the cycle of clearing the pain and the trauma. The predator is standing in the room disguised as one of the physicians. Disguised as a medical professional. In this human plane of existence, we are taught to disregard what's natural to our own bodies. We are taught to disregard any of the innate things in which we have that's very similar to the animal kingdom. It's wired to the nervous system, the brain, the subconscious. This ain't foo-foo, crystal, woo-woo, tree hugger shit. I talk like this sometimes because it ticks me off.
That's right, Grandpa.
The sun is going
You know?
down. We
Let me
have
do
a
this.
lovely guest house, and you're welcome to stay.
I say that because it's like, you get folks who get into that whole vein out of their ignorance, but they get into that whole vein. Oh, that ain't nothing but a bunch of new agey. That ain't nothing but a bunch of spiritual yoga pants wearing, new agey, tree hugging, crystal holding. That ain't nothing but a bunch of heresy. That ain't nothing. That ain't nothing but a bunch of, woo, woo, woo. Because it doesn't fit into their framework and they don't want to be bothered with none of that. But what I'm saying in this instance has absolutely nothing to do with those types of practices. This is science. This is quantum physics. Okay? This is biology. So that means it's involuntary. And to tell that person while they're at the killer's house, I love using extreme examples because it helps to paint the picture and it helps us to kind of make better sense of things that are more subjective and abstract. If Myers, for you movie buffs, that was like myself, in the 80s, we, all the scary movies, back when scary movies was, anywho, I bet you every generation says that. Anywho, let's say I am Laurie Strode. I'm Laurie Strode. And I'm the badass heroine of my movie, bitch.
What
okay?
you do that for?
Oh, because I couldn't, you had the remote. So let's say, like I said, I'm Laurie Strode. Okay? And Michael Myers has attacked me several times over, attempting to kill me. And I got lots of gushing wounds. I have a sore ankle, a sore wrist. I'm bleeding. I got stitches. Yeah, he didn't kill family members. He didn't kill some of my friends. The cops can't seem to get, he killing, Boothie will know it. He seemed to be indestructible. I've wounded him. I got me a couple licks in. which only served to piss him off, which is why he's been obsessed with me for my lifetime. So I'm Laurie Strode. I end up in Haddonfield, you know what I'm saying? Whoa. And, you know, because I escape and I'm trying to triage, they're trying to help me. I'm trying to triage, and I know that he has this knack of finding me wherever I go. It's like sniffing, you know, like some kind of animal sniffing wherever I go. They have a knack of finding wherever I land. And so my body is having trouble because my body feels unsafe because the idiots around me don't know that they are unsafe. They don't know that they're just 1 second away from getting got by his ass. And because bodies are dropping, and so her body, the Laurie Strode, is not able, because she's still in hypervigilance, because Michael Myers is obsessed with finding her. He is obsessed. So she's limping with her broken ankle. Halloween 2. She's limping because she's a badass. She didn't failed and got cut, bitch, her ass, and, you know, but she's still in pain, but her adrenaline, you know, she can't let go, you know, her body is still forced to be locked into this. And it wouldn't do anybody any good to circle around her saying, it's okay, we love you, it's gonna be okay. It's not gonna be okay until I kill this nigga, bitch. It's not gonna be okay until I kill this nigga. You understand me? Because he listen now, we're talking about this movie now, because he is trying to kill me. It's not gonna be okay because y'all stupid, kumbaya and shit. You're sitting here, your eyes glaze over. It's not going to be okay until I finish him, because he is coming for me. I must end this. So don't give me no medicine, bitch. I don't need no counseling, bitch. What I need is this nigga killed today. Now, again, I'm ghetto-fying what I'm saying, but we're still talking about science. We're talking about the body. Because in the human world and plane of existence, this is what we do. You know, we think we're the supreme intelligent beings, but we're really not. We're not really. No, we're not. No, we're not. That's all I'm going to say about that. No, we're not. We are not what we think we are. I'm going to say that too. And we are not the most supreme being. So I wanted to talk about this because we always talk about environment and conditions that are conducive for healing. So this should help the world to understand why all of this is a problem and there's an attempt at the life of targets. Because if the whole thing, this whole fiasco on a larger, grander scale, on the macro scale, is about keeping them displaced, dysregulated, then there's still a slow murder. That's murder. It's still a genocide attempt. Because if the nervous system requires, if the nervous system, the body and the subconscious requires being able to compute safety and security in order to clear density, trauma, the vibrations of all these lower things that we tell people as the standard in our self-help movement. Just move on. Just let it go. Let it go. The killer standing in front of him. Just let it go. The killer got another friend to help him to hopefully finish the job. Just let it go. They're looking at the side of their eye and see motherfuckers creeping in their dwelling places the moment they turn their head, the moment they turn their back. Just let it go. They're trying to do programs. They're trying to do recoveries and all these things. And they see the killers talking to all of these various entities and groups and so forth that has access to their their personal space, their blankets, their food could go. Just let it go. And move on. Just let it go. Move on. That's lacking intelligence. Somebody's going to be offended by it, but we're talking about science right now. We're not even talking religion or spirituality. I told people I will be able to come at you at all angles necessary. We're talking about facts now. We talking about body. We talking about pragmatic. We're talking, and sometimes we need to do that because again, humans have a tendency to get caught up on their bents. They get stuck and caught up. In the animal kingdom, it ain't nothing to do with what they checked off on the list. They get wounded. Their body and their nervous system has to go through the cycle of clearing the trauma, and it doesn't feel safe to do that unless they can put themselves in a space to feel safe to do it. If the threat is still there, they are locked into that until they can get themselves in a space to do so. This is why the targets are followed. This is why when misfortune happens to the target, these people are cheering and doing the Toyota job and clicking their heels, because then it gives them more ammo or more access to keep that target locked into the trauma cycle. They get more access to the target under the guise of program, under the guise of whatever is being exploited at that time, whether it's the medical profession exploiting, doctors' visits, checkups, lab work, things of that nature. Because all of that is bio of the target. Whether this be, since the target is in a vulnerable position, connect with all of these entities, these various groups and organization entities, and under false pretense, and then get a hold of those things and do root work on things, giving them cursed items, trying to create, cords, all those things. But the target is supposed to feel safe and comfortable. But the body knows. The nervous system is, because it's all vibration and frequency. Just because there's no physical matter that we can visually see with our naked eye doesn't mean that the potency and the vibration or the threat isn't there. Just for an example, let's say for shits and giggles that Michael Myers was on the premises of where I am right now. For fun. Let's just say that for fun. and run with it. There will be some of us that can sense if we have been affected by Michael Myers, or we've had a history of being assaulted by Michael Myers. The body and the subconscious and nervous system will be possibly throwing off some reactions and not knowing why. Why do I have this eerie feeling? And those types of things. Why do I have this eerie feeling? Because Michael Myers is there and you already had you a couple run-ins with them and your shit ain't altogether fucked. Your shit ain't altogether fucked. Your intuition, your body's system to pick up and detect it all ain't altogether fucked by cigarettes and alcohol and, you know, all the other things that indulge the fuck out of humanity. That's why. Even in the movies, there's always some of the characters that seem to be more in tune and the other ones most stupid. What's the reason for that? I mean, we don't know the reason for that, but what is the reason for that? Why is some, you know, in the movie perspective where it's like they're intuitive and they can sense and feel and know, it's like, okay, we used to the killer. We should not go to sleep, bitch, and we should not, you know, woo-de-woo. And the others are like, no, you're tripping. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be good. And they ask, it's like, yeah, you're dead. You're finna die in a few minutes. You're the first token that's gonna be gone, token. You're the first one. I'm trying not to be next. You're the first one, token. Your ass. Anywho, that was just a little humor there. The mind, the subconscious, the body knows. Letting go. And what are people really saying when they're saying that? You know, I start asking questions. You know, I just got to a phase of life where I just stopped just taking sayings. I start asking questions, and I think that annoys a lot of folks. But it's like when you've been on a kind of journey where it's like you've done all the things that everybody kept telling you to do, and it's like, no, then I shouldn't be in this position. Something's not right. I shared a repost on TikTok. I think I shared it as a repost on some of the darker side of life and things that people don't know about how they do what they do. How they basically get the target to take on their junk. And a part of it is the rituals and the altar work, getting the bio and the declarations that they say over these altars and things like that. With the target's bio, blood, objects that have their you know. Mm-hmm. Environment is everything, which is why environment is targeted to keep the targets dysregulated, because the body and the subconscious and nervous system knows. Every day he wakes up, he is saying to me, we got to get the hell out of here. Why is my son talking like that? He gets up, I can hear him, even if he's up before me. Why? What is it that he knows? What's happening? What's happening? Other than, because somebody could say he's just no, no. We have been, no, you'd be wrong. We've been displaced since we left Texas. So why? Why? Every day. Because the mind and the subconscious and the body knows. And then you have, in some cases, well-meaning people, well-intending. In some cases where, again, because of the way we've been brain fucked, and then we think we're helping somebody by saying, it's okay, and at least you have somewhere to lay your head. No, Michael Myers lived next door. So no. No is no and no, no, no. The killer's in the house. How about that? Now, so is that statement still valid? If the killer's in the house, is the statement still valid? Is the statement still valid if the killer's in the house? If the killer has access to your food preparation, is that still an accurate statement? You're safe. If the killer came in a disguise because they found out that you were there and they got themselves, they weaseled their asses the fuck, you know what I'm saying? So that they can have them a spotty spot, you know, in the same location. Is that statement still true? You're safe. At least you're not. You have somewhere to lay your head, but the killer's in the house. I want somebody to answer that out there. I want somebody to be real and stop playing in the universe and answer that question. Without all of the religious bullshit, spiritual bullshit, without all of those quirky, weird ways that we try to wiggle out of dealing with something head on. If the root worker is living next door to you, and they got access to your personal belongings, and then since they're on the same grid as you, it gives it another level of potency. Is the statement still true? Somebody can put poison in your food because they have access to do it. So is that statement still true? Somebody could put poison inside your dwelling the moment you leave, the moment you walk out the door, if the killer is on the premises. So then, is it true? It's unnatural to expect humans to just let go, especially some of the more serious stuff. I've been sharing content that I recently came across in terms of how forgiveness, that's not like how we got it kind of backwards. The nervous system knows, the nervous system is being trained that people can do bad things to you and there's no accountability. So now it's sending the signal to that person's subconscious brain and nervous system and body that they're unsafe. Because that person didn't hold themselves accountable. That person didn't get called out and was never held accountable. There was no remorse. There was no acknowledgement. So that person, as it pertains to dealing with the violator, they begin to take on, okay, they get to do whatever they want. I am not safe as it pertains to person blah, blah, blah. Or, whatever the case may be. And when people are trying to slow kill somebody, that's the whole intention, because they get away with murder, basically, even if it takes 3 years, 4 years. If they have systemically harassed and tortured and made sure this person has been terrorized and traumatized over and over again, that was their murder plan. Because science has proven that over time, the bodies, we were not biologically made to take on that indefinitely. We were not biologically made to hold, to live in the lock grid of fight, flight, freeze, and fawn response. At some point, the chemicals and the hormones of the system is going to go into overdrive, which can create all manner of illnesses, which then creates all manner of other issues, and it becomes a domino effect. And they want that domino effect because then they can manufacture and continue to reinforce their makeshift story and narrative. Oh, what a tragedy this person was. And so they get to be murderers. Slow kill. Whilst, programming and doing videos and taking pictures and showing how much they're trying to help this person. That's unnatural. And one day there's going to be enough folks out here in the universe to hear this video, as well as many other people that are talking about this kind of stuff. And finally, the light bulb comes on. What is the point of stalking and terrorizing somebody? I'm putting that in the universe too. I'm going to force the world to start looking at behavior. Not what people are checking off on their philosophical, religious, spiritual bands. Any religion, no. You need to be looking at the person's life. Fuck that. And I ain't talking about if they a church goer. I ain't talking about if they dress a certain way. No, their vibe, their resonance, the subtle energies. They're hidden, the hidden things, the hidden. Because what's the point of surveilling somebody who is not a real criminal? Somebody's got to face that too. It's going to be forced. This is going to be forced. What is that about? What is the intention behind it? It's a lie to say that this intention is to make sure that this person doesn't do blah, blah, blah. Well, no, that's a lie. That's a lie. A very convenient one, but it's still a lie. The purpose is to dysregulate the very one that's being targeted. And the purpose is to slow kill them, period, point blank. To slow kill them or to get them to kill themselves, period. The point is to disable their quality of life, period, 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 period. Them and their children. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Period, 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 period. Ain't no real honorable cause behind any of it. What's driving it is ignorance and jealousy, as always been throughout the history of humanity. throughout the history of beings. I'm going to even go deeper than that. Monopolizing. I talked about that on videos umpteen years ago, using the analogies of economics, because I was in college at the time, or I was referencing when I was in college. And since I had to take micro and macro, I think. And they talk about monopoly in one of them. In industries. And this is the same thing. What's driving a lot of these people's behaviors at the end of the day is still the same. It's, it's fear, it's insecurity, it's jealousy, it's ignorance. It's the same things it's always been, but it's also greed and monopoly. Because they, if too many people know the truth, we won't be able to what? Monopolize. We won't be able to monopolize because, then that means, and we'll. So we got to leverage and control the power. And how do you do that? How do you create that? And how do you maintain that? And so some of the targets are being targeted for that reason, because they're being viewed, whether it's accurate or not, doesn't matter. They're being viewed as somebody that's going to fuck up the monopolizing of something, whether that be religion, church, politics, whatever. If I were sick and had a compromised immune system, to put me in an environment where it was known to be a contaminated area, nobody would find it ludicrous and stupid for us to make a comment and say, why would you do that? Why would you put that person, they have a compromised immune system, they are undergoing their own treatment. Why the hell would you put them in a sick room? You're not trying to help them. You're slowing them down. You're basically defeating all of their efforts or all of their attempts to heal themselves. Why would you put them in a sick room if you really was trying to help? Nobody would say that. Nobody would feel some kind of way about that being questioned in that natural sense. It's like, well, yeah, you're cutting them off at the pass as they're trying to heal, and you put them in a sick room. It wouldn't make any sense because you're giving them antibiotics and you're sticking them in a sick room. You're giving them medicine for something that they contracted, and then you're sticking them in the very room that still has the issue. And then look at them like they ain't doing something right if their recovery is not happening properly. It's the same thing with energy, spiritual, mental, physical, emotional abuse. How are you going to look at the person some kind of way for not healing properly, and you're sticking them in environments where the same shit is happening? Was the goal truly to help them, or was it for another agenda, just to cover up like you're trying to help them? I get that, we get stuck in rumination and in certain thoughts, but I also want to say some of the deeper matters that are contributing to that from a physiological stance, from a science and neurological system standpoint. We have to deal with this stuff. Because it's more trauma, more abuse onto the person that's surviving. Because now they're being made to be seen as something is wrong with them because they are not getting over something. And unbeknownst to everyone else, what they don't know is, well, they can't get over something that's never stopped. I use the physical because for whatever reason, we then catch it. But if it was something that never stopped, that's never been addressed, that continues on, you cannot heal something. And the powers that be know that full well, which is why the whole project is executed to fucking begin with. Keep them dysregulated, put them in chaotic situations, or situations as they're trying to remedy themselves and rebuild it, then we make it chaotic. That's exactly what happened to me and my son. They start paying everybody everywhere we went to be disruptive, and the dumb nuts was just stupid enough to go along with it. So it wasn't a matter of me or folks like myself out there creating better for themselves. We would create better, and then the numbnuts would be hired to undo that wherever we went. So once again, then to tell the targets to just get over what? What continues to happen? The attempt to compromise the vibration and the frequency of the target, which makes them, see, this is why it serves us to be educated, which makes them more susceptible to lower vibratory energy. This is why they want the target upset. This is why they look constipated and like they've got to go to the dentist and get their wisdom teeth surgically removed anytime they sense or see or feel or know or hear that the target is happy or having a good time. Or looking good or better or whatever. This is why they go into a rage fit behind the scene, and this is why they go for broke purchasing more spell work. Every time. Oh, they're dancing and singing. Oh my God, they're laughing, they're smiling. Susan, they're smiling. We got a text message that somebody saw them outside smiling. That they're getting things done. Our confusion spells are wearing off. They went to the Uber or the Lyft, and even though we kind of coordinated some confusion there, now they're just able to just woo-de-woo. Susan, to try to keep create unrest, go and tell them businesses, put your things down and blah, 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 and all that stuff to see if they get stressed out. And they didn't get stressed out, Susan. It's because the goal is to keep the target in stress, anxiety, misery, uncomfortable, chaos, conflict, once again, genocide, slow death. Once again, to affect the health without looking like they're trying to affect the health of that person. The animal kingdom. I love this stuff. And I even love, there are folks out there that say keep things simple. Wouldn't that be nice? Because if we really did, none of us out here would be hung up on our personal bents, and we would simply be decent fucking humans.